afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from, of course. And thanks for joining our webinar today, which is all about reviewing the GPSR, showing you how to use our compliance solution, and answering your remaining questions about the regulation and our solution. This is our final webinar in our GPSR Compliance 101 series. And if you haven't had a chance to check out our previous events, don't worry, the first two are available to stream, and we'll share the links with you after today's presentation. My name is Bronwyn. I work in product marketing at Webinterpret, and Webinterpret's goal is to accelerate global sales for online sellers and remove the barriers to cross-border trade, which is exactly where our compliance solution comes into play. We're very excited to be joined once again for the second time each by Cyril Bray, General Counsel, and Noemi Collin, Senior Product Manager at Webinterpret. Cyril is a tax, customs, and legal expert with over 20 years of experience in a number of industries that include e-commerce, and Noemi drives major success for our Webinterpret users, particularly through our compliance and advertising solutions. So hello and welcome to both of you. We can go to the next slide here. Cyril will take us through a quick review of the GPSR, and then Noemi will be going over our compliance solution and giving us a demo. At the end, we'll be answering your questions, so please use the Q&A feature in the Zoom window below to leave them for us. You can also write in the chat window of Zoom, and if I'm not mistaken, Cyril will be keeping an eye on the chat to answer you there directly while the presentation is ongoing. We've planned 25 minutes for this event, so a little bit longer than the previous ones. So we'll be here to chat and answer your questions for that period. But if we run out of time, we'll follow up in our email that we'll send afterwards. And yeah, that's it for me for now. So over to you, Cyril.
Yeah, thank you, Bron. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this third webinar on the last one, as mentioned by Bron. So I will try to just give you a quick refresh on what are the regulations, how it's work. Don't want to redo everything. If you want to have more detail, I will advise you to watch the webinar one that should be available. So GPSR, General Product Safety Regulation for the acronym, just to ensure that in fact all the product which will be sold within the European Union will be safe for the consumer. It's clearly an update of existing directive, which has been merged into a new one, and it's clearly a sort of specific regime that permits to ensure safety of the product for the end consumer. It's cover both online and offline sales and also new or second-hand goods. So it's really important that you first validate that you are within the scope of the GPSR obligation. You can see on screen that there is a list of exempted products, just to see that there is for most of the non-food products which are concerned by GPSR. So food products for sure are excluded, living plants, antique aircraft, right travel equipment, for example. So again, if you have any doubt, you can also get to the link to the legislation. It will permit you to double check if your good is concerned or not within GPSR. How it works with your importations. So you will have first to ensure that all your products which are entering EU are clearly respecting the GPSR safety standard. What does it mean in practice? You will have to check that you have a traceability, you have some testings of your product, you may have some declaration of conformity also, and that's those elements which may be required if they are attached to your product to be provided to Webinterpret to act as the EU responsible person for you in the European Union. Why? Because in fact, to apply this regulation, if you are not based within the European Union, you will have to nominate a company that is based in the European Union to do it. Why? Because in fact, the European regulators want to rely on someone based in the European Union to discuss and to manage any, let's say, security incidents linked to your product. So that is why it's really important to get all the elements ready to be shared with Webinterpret to be, let's say, onboarded properly and on time, and to get your EU certificates. I think that's it with the regulation quick update. I think now we can move to Noemi for the product demo.
Thank you, Cyril. So before going with the product demo that everyone is expecting, I would like to do just a quick reminder from the second webinar. And just wanted to remind you how we decided to address the removal of the complexity of GPSR regulation by automating these key elements of the solution that we are offering today for GPSR. So the first element that is really important is that we are adding GPSR information to your listings. So as you know, online marketplaces require listing to include key safety, manufacturing, EU responsibility, and compliance information. The second thing that Cyril was also mentioning is the fact that you need to appoint an EU responsible person, which can be the manufacturer, the importer, or anyone who is an EU entity who must ensure GPSR compliance and manage corrective actions if needed. And the last point, which are really important as well, that Cyril mentioned as well, is regarding the documentation and the label compliance. So for the documentation, it should include any technical documentation that prove the EU safety compliance. And for the label compliance, so labels must display the manufacturer, the product description, safety disclosures, and EU responsible person details translated into each EU countries that we are supporting. Before going again to the product demo that you are really expecting to happen, I just wanted to quickly highlight particularly two brand new features designed to boost your efficiency. In case you need to use GPSR compliant listing also outside of the eBay marketplace or using a third-party tool for eBay, you will be able to use an export data via CSV file. Additionally, in case you validated your items with GPSR data and assigned an EU responsible person, which is not Webinterpret, you will be also able to download a certificate of compliance, which is a document that will provide a clear overview of your compliance status given for a specific product. So you will be able to see both functionalities during the demo of our product that we will just start in a few minutes. So before starting, I just would like to remind you as well the process of how does it work with Webinterpret. So when you are starting to use our compliance solution, we will directly fetch your inventory and start adding GPSR suggestions to your items. After that, you will have to review and validate our suggestions in order to have GPSR data added automatically to your inventory. So let me start now the product demo. So how does it work in practice? So you will need, of course, to log in into your Webinterpret account, and then you will have direct access to your Webinterpret dashboard. From here, you will be able to see the health check of your inventory regarding GPSR compliance. You can see three different categories of items. Item published, which are the items that you already validated and that we were able to publish to eBay Marketplace with GPSR data. The items to be validated, which are the items that still require you to review our suggested data and then require final validation from you. And the last one, missing information, which are the items that will require a bit more work as you will need to review more carefully and for which you will need to provide additional information before validating them. From here, you can directly access these items, or you can also refer to the compliance tab, which is available in the left menu on the top. So this is the core part of what you would like to see as well, where is here your compliance dashboard. So from this dashboard, you will be able to review and validate your items with our suggested GPSR data. You can use the different filters. We are also considering adding more filters as by category, so don't hesitate to let us know if you think it will be useful or if you think about any other improvements. We are displaying items grouped by type of product and under each brand to facilitate your review. For each product, you will see information about the product with the item ID from eBay. And you can see any GPSR information that can be useful here. CE, safety warnings, and of course, manufacturer and EU responsible person. Then you have the status of your product, and I will explain to you the assessment column and action button later. So how do I publish my compliance items? So let's use the filter on not validated item, which are the ones that you need to review. We will go with the product under the Van Damme brand here, and you can see here that we added GPSR data, and you can edit them in case this data proposed is incorrect. As you can see, you can edit safety warnings, the manufacturer, the EU responsible person, and here you have other details regarding the assessment that I will explain later on. In case you have several items to edit, you can also select all the items and click on actions and do the same actions that we just saw with the edit button for the several items at the same time. So you can edit EU responsible person, for example. Once your review and edition is finished, you just need to select the product and click on validate. And once you click on validate, as I said previously, we will automatically publish your items with GPSR data to your eBay marketplace. And your product will change status to validated until it will become published. So as soon as we will publish it to eBay, we will change the status to published. I just would like to explain you here, as I said before, what is the assessment column. So here you can see that this product is marked as not eligible. It means that we have determined, depending on the category of the product, if we are supporting to be assigned as EU responsible person or not. Here it was not the case, as we will need more information, more documentation to accept being an EU responsible person. In other cases, as you will see here, you can see 14 out of 14. We have defined some criteria that will determine if we accept to be your EU responsible person. And depending on that, we can assign us as EU responsible person directly, which was the case here with these examples. I mentioned, so before the demo, I mentioned to you the two features that I wanted to highlight today to be used with items already published. I was mentioning the export in case you would like to export your data to another marketplace. So you need, of course, before to go through the review and validation process. And after that, you can select items you would like to export, click on actions, and then request a CSV export. You are going to see a notification in the interface to inform you about the exporting process that will start. And later, you will receive an email to inform you as soon as the CSV is ready for you to be downloaded. Then the second one that I wanted to show you is the certificate of compliance. So if you click on download button, you will see from here the certificate of compliance document that I was mentioning before. You can just click on it and you will be able to review it. As you can see from here, you have all the details about the product itself and how is it GPSR compliant. So you have all the information in this document that certify that your product is following the GPSR regulation. And the last one here that you can see as well from the download button is the QR code that you can download. It's the same process as for certificate of compliance. You just need to click on it and you will be able to download it and you can use it for your package. And that it is all for today for the product demo. I hope you enjoyed it and don't hesitate to use the Q&A if you have any question or if you would like to share any feedback about it. I guess, Braun, you wanted to say still a few words after that?
Yeah, so we wanted to share, to shine a spotlight on one of our sellers, Lee Patel of Television Film Services in the UK, who was interviewed on Channel X recently about our GPSR solution. Leah's been selling with us since 2018 and have grown their eBay sales by 20% thanks to selling internationally with us. They were an early adopter of GPSR compliance right when we launched in December 2024. And thanks to our solution, they're able to maintain and grow their sales to the EU. So if you're interested in learning more about his business and his success with Webinterpret, we encourage you to watch the interview, which we'll share at the end.
Thank you, Bron. So I just wanted as well to share some news with you. So I'm excited to introduce these three new features to simplify your workflow that will be coming soon. So first, you will be able to import your items with just a few clicks. This will allow you to also use our compliance solution on items that are not currently listing on eBay and benefit from our suggestions of GPSR data, and then use the export feature that I just demonstrated to you. Plus, we will soon provide you with the scope of responsibility document, which will state for which listing Webinterpret is the EU responsible person. And there's more. We are also introducing an enhancement to our editing and validating feature. So soon you will be able to select more than 100 items at a time, helping you work faster and more efficiently with fewer clicks. So these updates are all about making your experience smoother and more productive. So stay tuned. We can't wait to share more with you. Yeah, and for the end, I just wanted as well to remind you quickly how to get started. So we already showed to you during the second webinar, but I quickly wanted to remind you how to get started. So if you are already one of our customers, you can directly access our compliance solution. You just need to log in to Webinterpret account and go to the compliance tab. From there, you will be able to onboard to the compliance service, and then you will have access to the compliance dashboard that you just saw during the product demo. If you are not one of our customers already, you will need to fill out the form that we will share with you at the end of this webinar, and we will contact you as soon as possible. And as I said previously, then the steps are really easy and quick. So during the onboarding, we will connect to your inventory. We will gather all your items to process our compliance solution and suggest GPSR data to your products. For some of your products, we will ask you for additional data, as I was already mentioning before, especially if you would like to use us as EU responsible person. And then you will be able to access the compliance dashboard and see how many items you will need to review and validate the data. And after your review, we will automatically push all data to your listings on eBay Marketplace. And you will have also the possibility to use the brand new feature exports file to be able to use your data out of eBay.
Great, thank you so much. I can see that there's a lot of engagement right now in the Q&A, which is great. Cyril has been answering your questions, the ones that were asked during the presentation, but we have time to answer some of the open ones that are live. So yeah, is there anything in there that you two want to answer live?
I think the first one, with what level plan do you need to use to be able to use the GPSR compliance function? And I don't know if you are quite aligned with the pricing of the solutions versus what are the options include or not.
Well, it depends on if you are already one of our customers. If this person is already one of our customers, it's already included, so they can already go to the compliance tab, as I just said, and onboard on compliance solution. If not, we have some pricing for GPSR solution as a standalone. So everything is available also on our website. They can check it directly from there.
Yeah, we'll be sending you a link as well. If you're not a Webinterpret user and you want to get started, you can fill out a form on our website. Otherwise, if you're on an international plan with us, it's something you can activate already from your dashboard. Yeah.
The two following one are more also linked to the product.
Yeah, the second one is like good feedback, so thank you very much for that. For the one related to the bulk validation, so allowing editing and validating more than 100 items. So we are going to work on it during the next quarter, so you can expect it in the next 3 months to happen. As soon as we have an idea of the deadline, we can communicate and inform you about that.
There is another one about exporting, importing items. Is that the same one that you already answered from Alex?
Seems so, from what I understand. Yeah.
I think he thinks that one of the time it's very, let's say, slow compared to maybe 10,000 items he will have to manage.
Yeah.
But I think there is no futures to be ready to manage more than 100 items.
For now, no.
Next one could be for me. So from Sandra, is the EU responsible person have to register a company or can be self-employed persons? That's a good point, Sandra. To be honest, I would first recommend, maybe due to the attached liability to the EU rep, to focus first on the EU legal entities versus the self-employed persons. Now, based on the regulation itself, I assume you may be able to act as your own EU rep if you are self-employed, but yet again, be careful about liability attached to this role. I think it's quite a vague question from Vladimir. How exactly does Webinterpret help me to boost sales? So it's, yeah, it could be something more from marketing side, maybe, Bron?
Yeah, in a number of ways. So it depends where you're starting off from, but I'm going to assume that you don't use our services at all. So we have different international and domestic services that are designed to boost your sales, mostly on eBay marketplaces. Um, so we have our localization product. Basically, if you're selling on eBay already in your domestic market, we'll take your listings and we will translate, localize them, and place them on a number of other international eBay markets. So if you're from the UK, for instance, we'll take your UK listing, translate it, put it on eBay Germany, eBay France, eBay Spain, Italy, US, and more visibility, more sales. So that's our goal. We also have some different advertising solutions. We have solutions for, if you're familiar with eBay advertising, promoted listings standard, promoted listings advanced, offsite, and also returns as well, international returns. So yeah, and then obviously, as you know, from the point of our compliance solution, the goal is to support you and enable you to continue continue to sell into Europe to comply with the regulation that became a thing in December 2024. So
Yeah, just here to clarify that compliance, it's not to boost your sales, it's to avoid that your sales should be blocked. So you can have a competitive advantage versus many of your competitors on the market being compliant because you will not be blocked by any of the marketplace. So that's why it's really important to be compliant. So it's not a booster, but it's a sell enabler.
exactly. It's the case with the seller that we just talked about in the case study where he has been selling with us for a long time. He generated more sales because of our solution, but without GPSR compliance, he would risk losing his sales to the EU. So,
I think there is few questions from Muna. So Muna said that for some time for parts, we do not have data available, especially if we are acting as trader. I will see that with GPSR solution with Webinterpret, we are trying to collect everything we can find on the web for your part or for your, let's say, article sold. Now, if for few items there is no data available, As I maybe try to answer your point before, Muna, in fact, you may act as the importer of the goods in Europe, then you can act as the manufacturer or replace manufacturer detail by your detail. Regarding after who will be the responsible persons, if you are based within the European Union, you can act as your own responsible person. If you are not based there, you can maybe appoint Webinterpret to do so. One question also, I think, regarding EU reps. So from Toby, if Webinterpret cannot act as a EU responsible person for a product, do you have any resources that can help? So first, Toby, I would say that in many scenarios, we try to be the EU rep and try to work with your company. If for any reason we cannot act, we can also maybe try to provide you some alternative suppliers that may act as your responsible person, and we will let you know why we cannot act as your EU rep. That means that maybe for any reason you are not in, let's say, able to provide evidence or safety certificate or anything. So again, we will not reject you without a valid reason. And we will support find an alternative.
I will interject just because we're actually over time right now and we still have a number of questions. So I just want everyone to know that we've recorded your questions. We will get to them after the webinar presentation, but I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today for this final presentation in the GPSR Compliance 101 series. I think I can speak for everyone involved from our side that this has been a great experience, but we hope that these webinars have served as a very valuable resource for you. And our team continues to be here if you need any more support with GPSR compliance. You can reach us directly at hello@webinterpret.com. Noemi and Cyril, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your knowledge with our audience. And yeah, again, we'll follow up with your questions. A follow-up email will be going out a little bit later. We'll include the recording, the slide deck, so you'll have access to the interview and any links, a getting started guide for those that are ready to start using GPSR compliance. And that is all from our end. I want to wish everyone a good afternoon and a good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.